thoughts in the real environment and test them. Uh, a very good experience, and just don't care about anything. Give it your best shot. Don't be nervous. It's okay, and I'm sure you have done good work in making your presentations and pitch. Just be clear, be crisp, and just try to be confident.
Thanks, Shefali, and completely resonate with Shefali. Guys, just be yourself today. And although there is a winner and not a winner, but doesn't really matter. I think everyone who's participating out here are winners, and just be yourself today. All the best.
So this is Tim Perry the Platypus, and I am going to present it along with my friend Amrita. So how many times have you felt like you're watching something on your phone screen and you felt like, I wish the screen was a bit bigger and I could have enjoyed this movie better? Or in this lockdown, ma'am, sir, I'm sure you have faced the problem of sitting long hours at your computer and felt like, I wish I could have taken this to my bed and completed the work. So you can forget this now with the Galaxy Note 7. You get the benefits of a phone, a tablet, and a laptop substitute screen at the same time. So what we are doing is, in an interconnected ecosystem, suppose you are doing some work on your phone and you feel like you need the benefit of a larger screen. So in that case, you can just stretch the phone, you can open the phone and it becomes a tab. Or suppose you need a slightly larger screen. In that case, it becomes you open it more and it becomes a laptop substitute. And you, with a Bluetooth support, you can attach a keyboard and you can do your entire work and use that as a laptop substitute screen also. So moving on to the next slide. What was the problem that initially the Note 7 faced? The Note 7 had a problem with heating issues because the part which was inside the battery, the insulation part, that started getting heated up a lot and the heat could not dissipate outside the batteries. So it started exploding. So now in the revamped model, what we have done is we have used liquid nitrogen cooling in every open air space inside the battery, along with on the external surface of the battery, which would ensure that the phone never gets heated up. So, and moving on to the next slide, Amrita will take it up from here.
So as we were talking about the problems that the Galaxy Note 7 basically faced a lot of issues with overheating. It caught on fire. Some airlines kind of banned it from their plane. They asked the phone to be powered down. But as you can see, Samsung did recover that fiasco. It did produce new phones and it regained its market value. And now we're coming up with a revamped version of the Galaxy 7, the Note 7. And so what, Pramit, can you go to the previous slide? So we're coming to a solution which is basically one single device to fulfill all of your needs. It can turn into a phone. When you open it, it has a three-fold kind of opening, and it can turn into a tablet. And then you can attach that tablet via Bluetooth to a virtual keyboard, and you can use it as a laptop. So basically what happens is you don't need a lot of devices. You don't need those to carry those charges along with you. You can just have this one device for all of your needs. Urban corporate professionals who have a lot of things to keep track of along with their personal and the professional life. I mean, you have so much data, so much email, so much information coming in every day. Can you really be taking everything on your phone and then transferring it to your laptop or doing it the other way around? Wouldn't it be great to just have one device, no need for an ecosystem at all, and just be using that one device everywhere you go? I mean, you can say goodbye to all the chargers and the hassles that come along with these three devices. Coming to the market, the smartphone market in India. So our target market. So our target market is basically young. Is expected to reach $2 trillion of value, 2 trillion rupees, I'm sorry, not dollars, of valuations in 2021. And it's supposed to be growing because of pent up demand during COVID-19. And as you can see, Samsung is the leader in the premium smartphone segment with almost 37% market share. And its devices are doing fairly well. It can also be targeted towards businessmen and then artists and creative professionals, graphic designers, fashion designers who need that one device on the go wherever they go for inspiration. are mainly Apple and OnePlus in the premium smartphone segment. Apple is primarily seen as a status symbol in India. It's cool to have an iPhone, but when you look at the cost benefits, our phone will definitely fare better because you're definitely getting 3 devices in one. If you want an Apple ecosystem, you need an iPhone. You can't get much of a bigger screen in iPhone. Then you need an iPad, and then you need an Mac to kind of connect to that entire ecosystem. You can't buy devices of different types even. So we'll definitely, I'm sure, fare better than Apple in this when we launch this device. So our revenue model, we're aiming to price this phone around 1.3 to 1.4 lakhs. It's definitely a bit on the higher side, but we're targeting our customer base of young professionals and people who can kind of afford this kind of thing for usability and for ease of access. The Z Fold, which Samsung currently has, it has 2 folds. It's also priced at about 1.3 lakhs, but due to new research being made and kind of developments being made in that technology, we can also release this phone at a similar price. As you can see, if you buy different a smartphone, a tablet, and a laptop, it'll definitely cost you more than buying this one single device, and it'll also give you ease of access. Along with that, as a promotional offer, we'll also be giving away Galaxy Buds, like not giving away, but providing with the device Galaxy Buds and a wireless fast charger. So it'll be a great addition to any person's life. So as they said in The Hobbit, one ring to rule them all, we'll basically give them one device to rule them all. And due to cloud storage, you will ensure that you never run out of space. Yeah, that was our pitch. Thank you so much. We were Team Parry the Platypus.
Thank you. Thank you. I think good job, guys. Good job. Any reason why you guys did not talk about iOS versus Android in your pitch?
Okay, sir. Amrita, can I take that?
Yeah, sure.
Sir, what would you exactly mean by iOS versus Android? Like, what can you elucidate the question a bit more?
Yeah, so you compared with Apple and versus the other Android phones as a competition. So probably didn't you think it is important to harp upon the usability of Android users in India versus iOS users? Probably that could add an edge to your competitive premise.
Yeah, definitely, sir.
Absolutely, sir. I agree with you that India being a country where we look forward to the value the product is giving and the price, we compare the price along with the value. I think pitching that in and that iOS is a bit more overpriced than it does not provide the value for the money that I'm paying. I think that could also have been a point to reflect that Samsung's product is superior.
Okay.
Okay, so good pitch, and I'm regretting all the devices I've purchased so far.
I think that was meant to, that was the point of the pitch, to give you that FOMO.
You have done the job well. Just one thing, what do I do with all the devices I've got? Are they useless now?
I guess you can probably sell them on eBay or Amazon at resale value and kind of put that money in towards that device.
Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, along with a device which replaces everything else, gets you new consumers. But the consumers who are already using some or other device, for them, there could be something that integrates all their devices.
Definitely. I think that would be a good idea, like maybe through OverCloud or something like that.
Yeah, good job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. On behalf of Team DCS, I would like to welcome you all on today's pitch deck on Tata Nano. So, Tata Nano was Ratan Tata's dream project. It was initially dubbed as People's Car. Despite gaining much popularity and hype, we will like to discuss why it failed to pierce the Indian car market.
Now, let me come to the vision and value proposition part. Okay. So, when Tata Nano first entered the market, it started with the tagline of Choti Gadi, Bade Sapne. Okay. So now I would like to change it a little bit, because whenever you are saying that it is Choti Gadi, it is reminding the people of their financial limitations. And this is not well received by the Indian people. Okay. So I would like to, because personal car in India is basically a dream for many people. So we will change the tagline as Khwaishe or Manzile or Dur Nahi. I would like to frame it in such a sense that we will convey the message that we are making dreams and luxury way much affordable. So now let us come to the problems. Okay. So the first problem was the company was busy advertising the car as a necessity rather than an aspiration. in the Indian society, the personal car is still seen as a yardstick to measure success and financial status in the society. So instead of highlighting on the aspirational part, the Tata company entirely focused on the necessity part, which Indians still don't think as a necessity. Okay.
So the second problem which I would like to highlight is what Tata marketing team did was they basically focused on the cheap car price tag. This was indeed a major problem to their marketing strategy because this in a way reminded people of the financial crunch. Instead of focusing on the affordability, they highlighted how cheap the car is. And apart from all this, when the product was launched, it was launched at around 1.5 lakh rupees. This was mainly because of the shifting in the manufacturing unit from Shingur in West Bengal to Gujarat, which resulted in a major hike price in the selling price. So this was also one of the main problems. And apart from this, there was also very few of the cars in the initial lot catching fire, and this resulted in exaggeration of the situation by its competitors. This also resulted in collateral damage on its cheap car price tag. Then coming to the target market, what we will like to do is we will be basically targeting the future potential customers of cars like Alto, Swift, and the higher end two-wheelers. And apart from this, we would also like to target a part of this second-hand car market, which is a very large sector in India. Now, coming to the competition in the market, what Tata actually did earlier was they mainly focused on the lower and middle income families who aspire to upgrade from two-wheelers to four-wheelers, but they fail to realize the obvious affordability issues and also the issue that when a person buys a Tata Nano car, they are viewed as substandard by their own social group. This resulted in massive negative publicity in the initial phases. And so what we would like to do now is we will be competing with the low range hatchbacks, the higher end two wheelers, and also the second hand car market. We would like to compete with the second hand car market by stating our high mileage feature, which is also a very important feature nowadays because of the rising fuel prices.
Now coming to the solution. The first solution according to me is putting Tata's acquisition strategy in the referral and retention strategy column. Okay. So basically what Tata did, it was the 1 lakh rupee tag, which was their acquisition strategy. It was only attracting the customers. Okay. But they didn't think about the referral and the retention strategy. Basically, the 1 lakh rupee tag, it is because of that the people are not referring it to others and they are not staying loyal to the brand because it is exposing their financial credibility and people don't want to expose that. Okay. So now it was a major mistake. So I would like to switch it. I would like to highlight the key features of the car, the luxury elements, the mileage, and everything other what another car has as my acquisition strategy. And I will keep the low price tag as my retention and referral strategy. This will actually push the customers and give them a supporting factor to buy the car. Okay. So now the second one, it is that changing the marketing approach and using Redmi's model. So I would like to do is that when Tata was actually, even before the launch, Tata actually manufactured a huge number of cars. This hindered them from getting the market review and molding according to the customer needs. Okay. So now what we will do, we will manufacture small amounts of cars and we will get the market review, we will get the customer needs and we will mold accordingly. Okay. So now I will also take inspiration from the Redmi model. I would like to highlight upon that because when Redmi was launched in India, it was the cheapest smartphone in the sector. Okay. But they never highlighted themselves as the cheapest. They always told that they are the highest selling smartphone in India. This actually puts some psychology in the people's mind that it is a great product instead of thinking that it is cheap. And they never use the word cheap, they use the word of honest pricing. This actually gave the customers a much more security and much more comfortable about their financial status. Okay. So now the third factor is introducing new safety security features. The safety security features have been a major concern in the Tata Motors, Tata Nano sector. We will be introducing child lock system and we will be introducing anti-lock braking system and airbag for the driver. This will resolve the safety issues. So now coming to the revenue model. Since the brand image has already been damaged, so we will be increasing the dealer's profit margin from 2% to around 3.5%, so that the dealers are more enthusiastic and excited about selling the product and they don't have to worry about a huge number of targets. This will increase the productivity rate in the dealers. Okay, so now the second point is having different Tata Nano versions according to some added features. This will actually help us to gain some extra revenue in the higher end versions because the profit margin in the higher end versions will be a little higher because of the added luxury features. Okay, so this is all what we had to present and thank you. We are open for the questions.
Thank you,
How much
guys.
will you sell your car for?
What, ma'am? I couldn't get it.
I want to do pre-booking. How much will you sell your car for?
So it will be around 1.7
No,
lakhs
yes,
around.
it will be around 1.7 lakh basically, because there is also an analysis I will tell you.
Yeah,
Because
we did a lot of work.
we did a lot of analysis on all that thing, because I have seen in the motor sector, I am comparing it with Tata Alto, sorry, Maruti Suzuki Alto. The Alto version in 2009, when Tata was launched, it was priced at 2.7 lakh rupees, the basic version, and now the basic version price is 3 lakh rupees. Okay, so the hike is basically nearly around 8%. Okay, and if you go up a little bit, the Swift model, it has a hike of around 10.8%. So for the safety, if I am keeping it around 10% only, 10% hike for the Tata Nano for the inflation rate and all these things, then the motor price will go from 1.47 lakh to around 1.61 lakh. And for adding some luxury features, we will be adding some extra 10,000 charge. Okay.
Tell
So
me
it will-
one thing, between both of you,
Yes.
whose closest family member works with an automobile company and with Tata?
Nobody, we take the entire research on our own part.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we even searched on the
we search
like the
we search
engines
a lot
also.
of things. And I will also like to point out one marketing strategy which I have thought but couldn't include in the slide because of the time. We want to incorporate a new style because of the flash sale concept, okay, which the Redmi did in the Amazon and Flipkart segment, flash sale. It is because they are producing small amount of products and they are highlighting it in such a sense in Amazon and Flipkart that we are thinking that it is just a simple discount offer. Okay, we are thinking that it's a simple discount offer and nothing else. This is how Redmi peers the market. This is how Redmi peers the market, and then they portrayed in the advertisement that we are running out of stocks, but they didn't reveal that we are only producing a small amount of number. That's why it is running out of stock. So this gave the customers an additional confidence that the product is good instead of being cheap.
Great, guys. So I'm pretty much impressed because I have spent close to 8 to 10 years of my career with Tata Motors, not as an employee, but as they were my customers. And some of these insights that you bought, I actually felt someone from Tata Motors is talking to me because
We
these
just
are
researched a lot
some
of things.
these are some
we also-
hard facts
yeah.
which they don't expose otherwise. So great, guys. I mean, great job.
Yeah, we also searched on the cylinder engines, like
We have
would
the
be
cylinder
working on
engine,
two-cylinder engines and not
four-cylinder
four-cylinder
engine.
engines.
We did the entire research how to make it up.
Yeah.
Thanks for your appreciation. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon. So today we present to you Scale Factor, and with Scale Factor, we present to you our revamped business model. To provide you with a brief history about the product, we had to abruptly close down our business services, which is basically an accounting design firm and offering financial services to our small scale clients. We had to abruptly close down and shut down our business in 2020 because of some anomalies. The basic problem which our business faced was that we promised our clientele that we would be focusing on providing AI and technology-based accounting services. But as our client base expanded, we couldn't keep up with the pace, and a large chunk of work was done manually by humans, which resulted in errors in the financial statements. So we have a new vision in our mind now. We believe that revamping our business to help revamp yours, because our business philosophy is based on creating something better each day. I'll first of all list down the problems that we have analyzed after a closure and how we would be working on them later part in the PPT. The first problem was the lack of transparency. So the lack of transparency about the product offerings which we were creating and offering to our customers, that is AI-enabled services or human-enabled accounting services, created a major issue because of which Scale Factor had to close down. Also, there was no scope for customer grievances. We feel that we did not do enough for creating a kind of a platform where the customers could freely put out their grievances. The third one was a loss of customer trust, as many of the financial statements which we created for our clients resulted in errors. I think that led to a huge loss of customer trust from our business. Then there was no synchronization between humans and technology. We couldn't balance the human insights and AI technology in financial accounting properly. Talking about the solutions part, first of all, we have accepted that creating a balance between technology and humans is critical to the SaaS industry. It cannot work in isolation. The second part is that we would be removing any kind of one-sided non-disclosure agreement, which would be unfavorable to our clients. It would be balanced.
Our strategy is basically now segregating properly the accounting functions into human administered and AI administered. So basically the clerical part of accounting, that is grouping of data, recording of data, would be done by the AI enabled services, and the interpretation part and the analyzation part would be done by human beings. The fourth one being more personalized services. So we would be incorporating more personalized dashboards, 24/7 customer services, chatbots, and customized services for our small scale clients. More emphasis on small businesses. We realized that a large number of problems which we face in our earlier business model were because we expanded without giving much thought. And that's why now our major focus would be on small scale clients, and we won't be expanding blindly. The sixth one being permanent compensatory clauses. So in case of any errors or defaults from our end in providing accurate accounting services, we would add a compensatory clause for the same in the contract itself. Now it would depend on the kind of businesses we would be dealing with.
Okay, so as discussed earlier by my teammate, we aim to target small businesses in our initial phases of operations. We understand the importance of small businesses in the US. After all, nearly 64% of the new jobs created in the US are by small businesses, and 80% of all the US businesses are those with less than 20 employees. Now, considering their scale of operations, it becomes pretty difficult for them to arrange funds to hire accountants and financial experts for their businesses. Which brings us to our buyer persona. These small businesses from the US are particularly bootstraps who are in need of an expert financial tool that is compatible with daily operations and infrastructure and is highly personalized so that their grievances are taken care of. And we provide exactly that. We are their one-stop solution for any financial services. Now, coming to our marketing strategy. We'll be talking a bit high level here, and we are currently working on the secondary marketing processes to create a detailed plan. Our aim is to provide value in the truest sense via our marketing strategies. Our basic AIDA model will have awareness as its first stage, where we'll be using strong content marketing strategies to reach our target audience. White papers, newsletters, and ebooks will help us generate value in the long run. The next stage would be the interest one, wherein we aim to promote targeted content, incorporate a chatbot, and create engaging landing pages so that these businesses are attracted to our offering. These pages would also contain testimonials and case studies so that they know how we convert visions into quantifiable results. To generate a desire, we would be investing in video marketing and personalized follow-ups and calls. Aim is not to sell, but to build an emotional connection. And lastly, to generate actions, we would be incorporating CTAs with the objective of converting customers by providing early membership discounts and referral schemes. Now, our competition is divided into three parts. It includes accounting firms operating at various levels, from global accounting firms to the ones providing relatively small-scale accounting services. Tier 1 would include the big four accounting firms like KPMG, PwC, EY, and Deloitte. Tier 2 would include firms like BDO, RSM, and Baker Tilly. And tier 3 would include localized accounting firms and softwares for storing accounting data and information. Now, coming to our business model, we want to develop a very innovative subscription-based business model for our organization. By incorporating easy-to-use interfaces, provide real-time data to help businesses make prudent decisions, connect all accounts to get a bigger picture, provide a mobile-friendly software, and most importantly, being there for our customers. We want to provide a range of personalized features ranging from reminders to 24/7 assistance, and end up becoming that SaaS goldmine that every small business in the US aspires to hire. Thank you so much. We are open to any questions and suggestions.
Great, thank you. I think good job done. I was not really clear in terms of why is your focus towards smaller organizations and not towards the larger ones? Is there any specific reason?
So when Scale Factor was founded in 2014, our basic target market was the small scale firms and the small businesses. And after COVID, we have realized that there has been an expansion in small scale businesses relatively all around the world. And we feel that it also kind of resonates with our previous target market. And now going after the COVID trends, it would resonate better with us. Also, as we had to abruptly close down in 2020, so we accept that bigger firms won't be very clear in coming and having a collaboration with us, in coming and getting services from us. And that's why our primary focus would be the small scale businesses.
Okay. And what about the funding? And
So the funding, okay. So initially when we started, we got funding from Coage Management and some of the bigger venture capital funds. But after the closing of the business, we decided that the new revamp model would get the initial funding as a bootstrap funding process, because we as the founders do have funds, personal funds, which we feel that we can utilize them, and until and unless we can provide a better version of our business model in terms of the investors, we cannot go ahead with the further rounds of seed funding. So I think initially we would begin with the bootstrap funds.
okay.
Good job, Amanpreet and Apurva. Impressive pitch. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.